Hello, everyone. My name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about the work To a God Unknown, written by John Steinbeck. Now, before I go into summary analysis of this work, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and/or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. To a God Unknown is a very interesting work. We meet this man by the name of Joseph Wayne, and he pretty much goes insane. He pretty much goes crazy. I mean, he was on his father's farm in Vermont, and he leaves for California. His father dies. After he leaves, and this is a very like mysterious, mystical type of work because Joseph, throughout the work, he has this like connection with land and or this connection with the natural world that just keeps growing. When he gets to California, he invites his brothers to come, and things doesn't go well. Things actually go very dark. His brothers Burton, Thomas, and Benji, they're all Burton is attached to Christianity. He has Christian beliefs. Thomas, he loves animals, but he's not so close with people. Benji, he's a womanizer. Loves to drink. In other ways, like the black sheep of the family. What goes on is that there's a worker on the ranch on the farm, Juanito. He ends up killing Benji because Benji sleeps with Alice, which is Juanito's wife, and he kills Benji. He tries to make Joseph to take revenge on him, but Joseph doesn't do that. Um, Burton, on the land that Joseph has, there's a big oak tree that Joseph pretty much starts worshiping. We're talking about pagan sacrifices. There's a big moss rock on the land that he ends up selecting, and Joseph, he wants to sacrifice to the tree. He wants to worship the moss rock. He wants to be one with the land and sacrifice to it. So he begins to like worship the land, has all these pagan beliefs about it. Burton, who's more religious and more close to Christianity, he kills the tree. He rips a piece of bark all around it, girdles it, and the tree dies. Then the moss rock is the only thing that's left. Joseph brings his wife to the rock, and she tries to climb it, and she falls up and dies. And Rama, who is Thomas's wife, ends up sleeping with Joseph because I guess she wanted him to feel better. And pretty much Joseph leaves his son John that Elizabeth gave birth to, the son between Joseph and Elizabeth. Um, he gives his son to Rama to take care of as her own. And so this family is messed up. You have Benji who dies by Juanito's hand because Benji was sleeping with his wife or slept with his wife. Um, Joseph ends up sleeping with his brother's wife, Rama. He sleeps up. Joseph sleeps with Rama, Thomas's wife, which is quite sad. This family is lots of dark things are happening here. Burton, he wants to serve his own God. He's a Christian. He wants to stick to Christian beliefs. So he kills the tree to, his brother's worshiping it. His brother's worshiping a false thing, a false god. So you do see different people, different groups of people, and also you see Native Americans now. Native Americans and Christianity. Before Christians came to the United States or the land now known as the United States, Native Americans worship their own gods, their Great Spirit and things like that. So they do have practices that are pagan, that are not Christian practices. And so this work does bring me back to that this idea of worshiping these gods that are not God, as in holy, God, Jesus, Holy Spirit. So we see Joseph go into that deep end, just trying to figure out a way in to save his land. Now, keep in mind that there are dry spouts. There are years of dryness, right? There are years where there's no water. This is completely natural, but this work we mostly fall into the mystical, trying to, it's the gods doing this and all that kind of stuff. And honestly, it does seem like Joseph is cursed. His wife dying, giving away his son. What Benji did to Anito, what Bert did to the tree. So they meddle in each other's lives, and it's Joseph's fault. He was the one that invited his brothers to California. They came and they meddled in his life, and all these people. Juanito's marriage, Thomas's marriage, Joseph's marriage. There's so much trouble within these people's lives. Ultimately, what happens is Juanito, um, Thomas, and Joseph, they try to do whatever they can to save the land, save the farm. But ultimately, Joseph comes to the conclusion that the only way he can save everything is by killing himself, where he should be the sacrifice, because there's so much pagan practices. And in pagan practices, you will sacrifice something to the gods. In ancient cultures, this was very common, where they would sacrifice, young girls. Some cultures they would sacrifice young virgins, women, animals, you name it, anything. There's many ancient cultures where they just sacrifice people. So Joseph comes to the bright idea: the only way he's going to save his land, or save his land, is to sacrifice himself. So he slits his wrists, and as he dies, it starts to rain. In terms of deeper meaning analysis, this work is really interesting. Um, it's like man versus nature, and trying to understand God. It's like Joseph wants answers. He wants something to fix his problems. Um, he wants something to fix his problems, but it's not that easy. Um, Sacrifices, worshiping practices, and all the bad things that are happening within this work, between the different relationships between the different marriages. So many things are dark, especially the way that Elizabeth dies. Joseph, like, he thinks that this rock is so amazing that he brings his wife to the rock, and she tries to climb in, and then she dies. That's a curse. That's grim. And then he ends up killing himself, you know, at the rock too. So it's like his wife was a sacrifice, his marriage was a sacrifice, his son is left an orphan. He was a sacrifice. His brother Benji died, so like so many people in his family died. His brother Benji, he died. His wife died. His son is an orphan. Bert, his brother, killed a tree. Um, it's just, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Again, it does come down to man, or Joseph here trying to worship this thing that he believes is going to save his farm, his ranch. He thought that he has some type of deep connection with something above, or, you know. But there's also the clash between, well, which God do you serve? You have Christian beliefs, so Burton, um, you know, he believes in God, the Christian God. You have different pagans practicing different things. And they you bring in a priest, and the priest is like, he's trying to get the men to stop doing pagan things on their farm and to come back to the church. But Joseph, he's going about it his own way, sacrificing and all that kind of stuff. So you do get the clash of beliefs, or of ancient beliefs versus modern beliefs. And, modern beliefs would say, okay, there's a dry spout, all right? There's dry years. It's not that you're not pleasing the gods, it's just that there's times where there's no rain, there's no water, and things die out. If Joseph wasn't going crazy and, wasn't sacrificing the big oak tree, his brother wouldn't have killed the tree. It's because he just went insane and started practicing pagan practices, and the brother's like, well, I gotta, stop this. that all this happened. But also you have to look at the family problems, and the family betrayal, and the bad decisions by Benji, by Joseph, with Rama. Um, yeah, it's very dark. But again, whenever it's man versus God, or man worshiping false gods, the results are never what you would expect. Because Joseph, he's worshiping his whatever he's worshiping, whatever his nature or the land, or you know it's just, it doesn't end in a good result for him. So you do have the clash between different gods, the problems with the families, the individuals, and how they influence each other. You do have man versus nature, and also the ignorance of Joseph, because his ignorance of not understanding how farming works and how land works. Because a true farmer knows there are times where there's no water, when the weather is not on your side, and it's not like that you're facing some great thing. It's just, well, the weather and nature's not on your side, and you need to prepare for the dry spouts, and prepare for the times when there's water. So it's very interesting, this work. But also, after Joseph dies, how it begins to rain. That's also very fascinating. It's like a gotcha moment. But that's all I had to say about this work. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.